Welcome to Golden Blue, everybody, home of the college football fan. And don't forget about the checklist. Hat check, sunglasses check, Pepsi check, notes check, sources check, and thick skin is a check. And don't forget to sing gear to represent your team and yourself in my background. Send it to P.O. Box 360, Liberty, South Carolina, 29657, and get yourself a shout out. On to the next video. Hey, you already know what time it is, so might as well sit down, brace yourself, and buckle up because you are entering the speculation zone. I realized here recently, Golden Blue Dude has turned into, as the Pac-12 turns, the daily soap opera on the Pac-12. But today is a big day for the Pac-12, good or bad. Yesterday, I did a video on Colorado having an emergency meeting today, and yes, it is happening today. The first thing I want to read is from Reddit CFB. Here's what they had to say. The University of Colorado Board of Regents has scheduled a special executive session board meeting for Wednesday, that's today, to discuss legal advice on a specific matter and an athletics update on the Pac-12. Here's what the itinerary looks like. Agenda item details. Meeting March 8, 2023. Special board meeting. Category 9 a.m. So as of the making of this video, this meeting is happening right now. Wednesday, March 8, 2023. Call to order executive session. Subject, action item, executive session for regents. Type, action. This is an action meeting deciding what they want to do. Recommended, resolved that the Board of Regents go into executive session. Action, as permitted by section 24-6-402, parentheses 3, Colorado Revised Statutes. The board will discuss the following matter as announced and pursuant to the subsection as listed below. A, legal advice on the specific matter, athletics update on the Pac-12. So they want to talk about a specific matter and athletics update on the Pac-12. Pac-12 is in a bad situation. In case you're wondering, these are the teams that we don't have represented for the mini helmets. As you can see, we actually have quite a few big brands that's not represented here at Golden Blue Dude. I do know that Nevada and Cincinnati are on their way as far as mini helmet representation. So get your team represented here on Golden Blue Dude. Here's what Outkick had to say about the situation. And I think I read this yesterday, but I'm going to reread this because it's very relevant to this video. The University of Colorado Board of Regents will have a special meeting Wednesday amid ongoing issues with the Pac-12. A massive crisis has seemingly engulfed the Pac-12 as the conference has failed to land a new media rights deal. And the situation seemingly looks worse and worse with every passing day. So they haven't landed a media rights deal. There has been one proposed, and the amount that I keep hearing from multiple sources, and it grows from more and more sources every day, $22 million per team per year, which is a solid $10 million less per team per year than the Big 12. That's a big problem. This will be a Get It Gang video. If you don't know what the Get It Gang is, it's basically a name that I came up with for the group of people that come up with video ideas and leave them in the comment section of my videos. So if you think you have a good video idea, leave it in the comment section of this video or any other video, and I just might do a video on it. This Get It Gang video idea is actually from Immaculate. He says, Colorado didn't hire Deion Sanders to have him and his team mostly streamed. I agree with that. Coach Prime didn't pick Colorado for this either. If Colorado wants to keep him, they need to leave the Pac-12. My question would be, is there really anything to the rumor about Yormark potentially giving some clauses to some of these schools that there will be no penalty if they join the Big Ten later? I wonder if Colorado would get that clause. If so, I could see that dislodging them to the Big 12 for now. I will do a separate video on that particular clause because I do think that is the case. Some people have speculated that the Big Ten might be interested in Colorado. In fact, I did a whole separate video on that because remember, the athletic director at USC used to be the athletic director at Colorado. He attended Colorado. He still goes to Colorado football games. So it is a potential scenario that maybe he had discussions with the Big Ten, just trying to figure out or feel them out. Hey, what do y'all think about Colorado? Do you think there's any chance of y'all ever pursuing Colorado? Maybe the Big Ten was like, yeah, they have great academics. They have AU status, but man, their football program is in shambles right now. So that would be the only thing that would keep them from getting an invite from us. So maybe the athletic director then went to Colorado and said, hey, you guys are good in athletics, AU status and all that, but you got to do something about that football program. What happens? Colorado hires Coach Prime and the brand worth goes through the roof. Revenue for the NIL goes through the roof. Transfers, I'm talking over 200 transfers reaching out to Colorado within the first 48 hours of hiring Coach Prime. And boom, Colorado's brand worth in football is through the roof. So it is definitely possible that the Big Ten could be interested in the Big Ten, and the Big Ten interested in Colorado as well. But I think the more likely scenario is the Big 12. I don't think the Big Ten is as interested in the Colorado, if they are interested in Colorado, as they are with Oregon and Washington. And we've heard about the reduced revenue share invite that they're supposedly about to hand out to Oregon and Washington. And yes, it is significantly lower than the other members in the Big Ten, but it's still significantly higher than any amount that they could receive in the Pac-12. Even if the Pac-12 did unequal revenue share, which is what Oregon and Washington wants, it still wouldn't approach that $40 million per team per year for Oregon and Washington. The most that I could see the Pac-12 giving Oregon and Washington, even with unequal revenue share, would be $30 million per team per year. And that's still a solid $10 million per team per year less than the Big Ten. Anyways, I digress. Colorado is having the meeting as we speak. As far as the making of this video, I don't know about you watching this video, but as of me making this video, they are having this meeting. Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State have emerged as the teams most likely to make the jump first. Utah is still on the fence. Most of the people associated with the University of Utah still want to go to the Big 12, yes, but there is a major roadblock right now as far as the actual president of Utah does not want to go to the Big 12 as of right now. Now, maybe they could talk him into it and that changes over, which, by the way, I will be doing a video later as far as the actual percentages of each team in the Pac-12 making the jump to the Big 12. So stay tuned for that video as well. So Utah is a little more shaky, but Colorado, Arizona, Arizona State, I think they're more likely to jump for the Big 12, especially sooner rather than later. Arizona and Arizona State have been very, very vocal about not being happy with the Pac-12, especially the TV rights deal and streaming, the streaming part, because it's supposed to be heavily involved in streaming. They don't like that. Arizona reached out to the Big 12, and then a day later, we heard that the Big 12 was actually talking to all four corners, and that's how that situation evolved. So Arizona, they're looking to leave the Big 12. And remember, there's state legislation that wherever Arizona goes, Arizona State must go. And wherever Arizona State goes, then Arizona must go. So I think that Arizona State would go with Arizona to the Big 12. And now Colorado looks like that they're very interested in the Big 12 as well. And they called a meeting for today for some action. Now they could decide, okay, the action is we do nothing. We stay in the Pac-12. We're okay. The media deal is not great, but maybe with Arizona and Arizona State leaving, that's more money for us. I don't know about Pac-12 expansion. It could go in that direction, but it could also go in the other direction. Hey guys, the Pac-12 looks like it's dying. Yes, they're wanting to expand, but that's more mass to feed. Arizona and Arizona State look like they want to go. Utah's on the fence, but perhaps they could be talked into going as well. Maybe it's time to leave the Pac-12 to go back to the conference that we came from, the Big 12. Remember, guys, we do have experience in the Big 12, and even though it wouldn't be a great look on us for going back to the conference that we left for the Pac-12, at least we're familiar with the Big 12, and it's not like going into a foreign land. So it could go in either direction, but the bottom line is Colorado is having a meeting today, right now, as I speak, to decide the fate of Colorado and possibly decide the fate of the Pac-12. Every day that goes by that we don't hear any type of an announcement of any type of TV deal or any grant of rights sign is another day that's bad news for the Pac-12. Usually the old saying is, no news is good news. Well, right now, no news from the Pac-12 is bad news. Because I am positive that if they had any good news, they would be talking about it right now, because there's just so much negativity on the Pac-12 right now that if they had something positive to say, they would be saying something immediately. That way they could get rid of at least some of that negativity. So every day that goes by that we hear nothing from the Pac-12, it's actually bad news from the Pac-12. So y'all let me know in the comment section. Number one, what do you think happens as a result of this emergency meeting from Colorado? Do you think they stay in the Pac-12 and that's their action from this meeting? Or do you think that they make the decision, yeah, it's time to head off to the Big 12? The second thing is, if Colorado, Arizona, and Arizona State make the decision to join the Big 12, do you think that they could talk Utah in joining the Big 12 with them? Remember, Utah is more on the fence right now. Number three, if that does happen, do you think the Pac-12 survives this? Remember, if the Pac-12 is offering unequal revenue share for Oregon and Washington and possibly Cal and Stanford, that means they're sacrificing the rest of the conference for teams that could be bolting for the Big Ten anyways. It really doesn't make any sense, because from what I'm hearing, Oregon and Washington are not willing to sign any type of grant of rights for more than 3 years. So eventually they're going to bolt for the Big Ten anyways. More bad decisions by the Pac-12. That's all I got for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next show.